We are live. We are back in the flesh. Another episode of 433. And all I gotta say is hold that, Margie. Your bum ass team lost. And yeah, everything is great in the world. They lost that derby. I allowed you over the weekend. I didn't say anything. I was waiting for the pod so that I can get onto your bum ass and your bum ass team. Yeah. So yeah, hold that. I'm happy with the 3 points. And yeah, there's nothing really much I can say. Obviously, we will dig deep into a couple games. But yeah, Marju, how you feeling?
Um, I do need, to be honest, I'm numb to it at this point. I mean, um, my manager keeps making the same mistakes. We'll discuss it in a bit, but yeah, man, it is what it is. I'm Darlene, Chelsea fan here in the building, here to talk football. Um, when you have a bad weekend, there's teams that make you smile, and thank you United because you turned my weekend around. So that's all I gotta say. Thank you Ten Hag. That's all I gotta say.
Right, yeah, man. Let's dig deep into this because obviously that's the first game on the Sky Sports list. So I want to dig deep into this Chelsea game. Like for me, from my perspective, I think it's rinse and repeat for Chelsea, but for me, the first half, Chelsea dominated on the next level. Like they had ample amount of chances to kill the game, to bury the game. And again, the reason why I said it's rinse and repeat because it's the same thing that we keep talking about all the time. In the case of Chelsea are good when it comes to attack. They're good when it gets to the final third, but they just don't have no finishes. They don't have no clinical instinct. And Pochettino said it themselves. He said he was happy with the game plan and he was happy in terms of how the team played, but they just weren't killers. They weren't killers at all. Sterling had ample amount of chances. Nicholas Jackson had another set of chances. But what annoyed me in that whole game about Nicholas Jackson is he was never in the box. Like you're meant to be a striker. You should always be in a box. You should always be in that 6 yard. And you can see like the wingers, the midfielders, especially Cole Palmer was trying to find Nicholas Jackson and he couldn't find him. And it was a case of they'll get the ball up until like the 3rd yard, and then they'll look to see where he is. They'll realize that he's not there, and then they'll try to recycle possession so that he does get in there, but then he still wasn't getting in there. It's like whether it's a lack of confidence, whether it's a case of he needs coaching to tell some for them to tell him that he needs to always be in the box. I don't know what it is, but Chelsea in that game was lacking a physical presence. They were lacking someone that had that predatory instinct to finish those chances because the chances that they had, if they had a solid number nine, the score would have been in reverse. And I just think we say this all the time. If you don't finish your chances, then the opposition team will capitalize. And that's basically what happened. It was just counter attack, inshallah, from Brentford. They had the pace on the attack, and it's just how it is. Like yeah, it was shocking defending in terms of the goals that were conceded, but then again, like if Chelsea took their chances, then we wouldn't be talking about the shocking the defensive display, because at the end of the day, goals win you games and goals build you confidence. So I just think in that scenario, everything in terms of Chelsea's downfall was just the attack. And I just feel like if this game was an opportunity for Chelsea to get the 3 points because their next fixtures are going to be harder. And I feel like Chelsea now are just going to face that uphill battle to try and scrape and get a draw or scrape and get a 3 points. And I feel like if Chelsea didn't capitalize in this game, which again is a derby, so you need to be performing, and if you're not performing in this game, then the next couple games is going to be techie because they got Newcastle, they got Tottenham, I think they might have got Man City as well, I think. And I just think for me, again, as I said, this was a golden opportunity to collect all 3 points, and it just didn't materialize. But Marjorie, I want to know your point of view. Like what was your thoughts in the game? Because obviously, you've been going on and on about how the manager is pretty much inconsistent and tactically he's playing the wrong players, and how you need a solid number nine, and you're not believing in Nicholas Jackson. So I want to know what was your thoughts on that derby.
My thing is with the defense in particular, if something isn't broke, why are you trying to fix it? Um, the right back situation. I don't know why Malo Gusto's not starting over Disasi. If you want to put Disasi in, that's fine. Take off Thiago Silva then. Put him in where he's meant to play, centre back. Um, I understand you want a physical presence against Brentford, but why, as a manager, are you thinking about the opposition rather than your team and your team's comfortability? We're the big team. We're the team that's gonna break them down. Why do we care about what they have capable or of doing? Because that's what loser. That's a loser mentality. That's a small club mentality to change your defense because we need a bigger man in there because they might be good in corners. That doesn't matter. When you're a big team and you can dominate a game like we did in the first half, you played the best possible lineup you can put out there. We know Malo Gusto at right back is solid. He's one of our highest assist makers in the team. He's already got 2 assists this season out of 8 games. No one else is close to that except for Palmer. So you're taking off a creative outlet on that right side. You're isolating Noni Madweki, who hasn't played a lot. So he has no one to overlap for him. So you're basically cutting off his legs. Because all Disasi did every time he got the ball in that right back position, attacking wise, is pass it back to the centre back and rinse and repeat. Sideways football, no. The thing is, we made chances, but we didn't make enough chances. When we have a striker and an attack that's inconsistent, you need to make as many chances as possible. So you need to have the most attacking lineup. The second thing is, we know that Conor Gallagher can't play the double pivot. It's been proven game after game. So okay, Enzo and Mudrik are out. Replace them for like. Put Leslie Ukachukwu who in that double pivot alongside Casado, so you have a solid base. Have Malo Gusto and Cucurella at the left back, right back. Allow them the freedom to go forward and tell Leslie and Casado just to stay back and cover the wings if necessary. Then, with the front three, the only other player that we have on our team that can play the left wing is Ian Matson. He did it in preseason. He was one of our best players in preseason off the left. He scored a couple goals in preseason as well. I understand he has the contract situation, but then you decide not to play him and you start that silly lineup. It should have been Matson. It should have been if you're gonna play Gallagher, play him in the 10 and then play Sterling on the right and play Palmer up front. Because the reality is Jackson isn't good enough at the moment. It's better if he comes off the bench when teams are tired so that at least he can get 30, 40 minutes come when the team is tired after we've put the pressure on. Because he needs to be eased into the game, I think. I don't think he can start games at the moment. And Cole Palmer's our best attacking influence. And you saw it in the Arsenal game when we played with the four little guys where we pressed them high. We just dominated in that sense and we created chances. So Ian Matson is our second best choice in terms of left wing. You play players in the best positions. You play that lineup. I think we go into halftime 2-0, 3-0 up rather than still being 0-0. Then you can put on Nicholas Jackson to get him the fourth or fifth goal to give him the confidence that he needs. Because in the end of the day, strikers are built on confidence. He hasn't got the confidence at the moment. So playing him, you're just playing him to even lose more confidence at this rate. And then defensively, put the Sassy for the height, but he's the one who makes the mistakes in the back stick for their goal. All that height for what? Man was nowhere near the ball when it came to their chance for the first goal, and then the second goal was just comedy. Why are we bringing the keeper up? What is this? Are we? Is it a Champions League semi-final or something? Is this the FA Cup final to bring the keeper up? Like, what are we doing? Just do a normal corner kick. If you get a goal, you get a goal. Just embarrassing. That second goal was embarrassing. It was just embarrassing. It's just the level of mentality of our last couple managers are acting like we're a mid-table to lower table club. We're Chelsea Football Club. You need to act as if though you're a winner. The reason why Mourinho was successful as soon as he came in is he said, "I'm the special one." That's how you're meant to think and feel when you come into a big club. When you go into an Arsenal, a United, a Liverpool, Chelsea, the moment you think like you're like your little man and think about the other opposition more than your own team, the moment you've lost the game. And those kind of decision makings from Pochettino, he thinks he's still managing Spurs. We win trophies. We're not that bummer over club that is happy just to be on top of the table, celebrating after 10 games thinking they won the league already. Or Arsenal last season, celebrating 93% on top of the table for nothing. What did they end up in the season? No trophies, nothing. Prior to that, we won the Champions League a couple years ago. This is the level that we're at. One of only 3 clubs in the Premier League era to win 2 Champions Leagues. The other being Liverpool and United, 2 of the biggest clubs in the world. That's the level that we've been operating at over the past 20 years. So for me, I think Pochettino just needs to start acting like he's at a bigger club because the way these managers come in, like Poch and like Graham, is that they think they're still in a small club. They're not. They need to change their mindset not to care about the opposition. I guess in games against Arsenal, Tottenham, or United, well, not United because they're bummy, but Liverpool and City, you may have to change here and there because they're better teams than us at the moment. But teams that are less than us, play your best 11, play your players in your position, and attack them 24/7. And that second half was disgusting. It's like we just fell asleep. What did you say at halftime to these guys? I don't know what you said to them at halftime because it seems to me every time in the second half we just fall asleep, act like nothing's gonna happen, and we just and then next thing you know, we're 2-0 down and we've lost another game. We've lost 4 games this season already. We're not getting top 5 at this rate. So your prediction's out the window because the rate the top 5 teams are going at, even Aston Villa, like the look at the rate at they're going at the points they're accumulating, we're not going to be able to keep up if we keep playing like this. And the next level fixtures, I'm not too worried about it because those are the kind of games that we actually come up and play for. Because one, we don't have to keep the ball. That's what we're best at, counter attacking, and inshallah, for some reason, Mudrik and Enzo will be back, so we'll have a full strength 11. Maybe this fool actually will play the proper defense and not play the sassy right back. Because if he does that against Tottenham, we're screwed. Stop playing centre backs at fullback. I don't want to see Levi Cole or Sassy at left back or right back ever again. We had 2 right backs on the bench. The last time we had a bad result, we had 2 left backs on the bench. What is this foolishness? It's like we made 2 steps forward in the last game to come about 3-4 steps back because of your foolishness. Conor Gallagher never again in the double pivot. I don't want to see a centre back at a full back because in this league you can't afford to have a centre back at full back because these wingers are quick, fast, PMP, all of that. And against Tottenham and City, they're all PMP. So you need your fullbacks to be fullbacks. You can't have centre backs that are slower than a Mack truck. You know what I'm saying? Walking pace, Dons. Like Disasi ain't quick. He ain't even quick for a centre back. So when he came in, they were talking about he was the French Maguire. That's how slow he is. So for me, I think Poch needs to brighten up his ideas because if we don't, we'll get smacked up by Ange Postecoglou and them man there in a week's time because we're going to the entertainment center and they're going to be entertained if we play like we did in that second half. If we play like the first half and make chances, we need to be clinical because we can't afford to keep on doing this stuff. And yeah, in January we need to buy 2 strikers in my opinion, not 1, 2. Because Brohard keeps getting injured. Jackson's not good enough yet. He needs to go out on loan somewhere in England, Championship, to get his confidence back up. And I think we need to bring in both Ivan Toney and Osimhen. I think we need both. I think we need 2 gunmen because 1 is not enough. If we want to be the great team that we are, we need 2 men in every position that we can rely on. We don't even have 1 up there. So, and we need wingers as well. I would even try and get Jadon Sancho on loan. Even though he's had a hard time at United, I think he'd be perfect for our system. He adds creativity to our side that we need on the left side, and I think he can play that left side for us. Even if it's like a 6 month loan with an option to buy, I think that's an option we should look at. And then in the summer, look at the likes of Rafael Leao, look at the likes of Sane, look at the likes of Musiala. We need as much creativity in our attacking line because it's not good enough. And Sterling, you need to step up because if you don't, by the end of the season, I want to see you gone. Talking about in at the start of the season that you're going to be top scorer. Start acting like it. You're meant to be the old one. You're meant to be the winner. You're meant to be the guy who's done it all, seen it all with Man City. But your inconsistency is not good enough. You the youngsters they can be allowed for that because they're young. But you're an old man in this game. You're a 100 plus Premier League goal scorer. You're one of the best wingers in Premier League history. Top 10, top 5. You need to start acting like it, or you're gonna get moved on. And if you don't believe me, ask Koulibaly and Mendy how Saudi that, because that's where you'll be going next. Just know, pattern up. That's all I got to say.
What's your thoughts? Are you Pochettino out or in?
I don't think changing the manager at this point will make a difference, in my opinion, because there's not any manager out there that I believe that is better than him that's available. If you look at the ones that are free, you're looking at Nagelsmann, he's the same level. The only managers that are better are in other clubs right now. You're looking at Klopp, Pep. You're not going to get one of those ones, and then the international managers is very hard to get as well. So I don't really know the
Zidane is
problem.
around.
He doesn't want to go to England. He doesn't like the cold weather. The problem with Zidane is he's either wants to stay in France or do the international thing. Every time he gets associated with an English club, his missus is like, no, I don't want to be in the cold weather. He doesn't want to be in the rain. But to be honest, hell, if we could do an option where you can stay in Paris and just fly over, doesn't even have to do the coaching set, just come in for the game. This ain't a 1-2 thing. We got enough Frenchmen anyway. You can just relay the message
It's true.
via Zoom. But no, I don't think he'll be available. Plus, I think he needs the perfect conditions for him to be successful. I think he's a more of a PSG manager, Don. I think it would suit them more. I think if they continue to mess up, I think he'd be better over there. But I believe the ideas and the tactics that Poch are making are right. I just think he needs the gunman because in the end of the day, all everything up to the final third, as you said, is correct. But if and the slight changes in terms of positioning, in terms of squad, can be detailed down to thinking and to the injuries of Mudrik and Enzo was unlucky, unfortunate. So those are changes you had to make, but he just made the wrong type of changes for those positions. So I'm not gonna blame him for that. But the right back is on it, is on him. But the striker, he needs a gunman in January. If after January, where he does have where the board, which I no doubt will get him a striker of some sort, whether it be Osman or Ivan Tony. If he's still messing up after January, then we can have conversations on whether he should stay in the club or not. But for now, I'm going to put it down to the fact that we just don't have killers in our squad, and we need to ensure that we bring killers and creativity to our attack because we're lacking him in both. Because if we had a bit more creativity, we can double, triple the chances. And the thing about the chances, why is it that all these chances are going to our left back? Why is Cucurella the man in the box? He just has every shot he was taking was so weak as well. I mean, his hair was flailing all over the place, fam. I think it was giving him air resistance because I don't know why is he in the box like that. I don't know what instruction he got, but he decided that he was a left winger. But yeah, the first goal, yeah, bad defending. The second goal was foolishness. I don't know why the keeper was out, but by the time their second goal in, we've already lost the game because it didn't look like we were gonna get the point anyway, and a point at home to Brentford. I mean, hell, and then we get mocked on TikTok with that. Oh, they can't win away, but they go to Chelsea, and then they're like, oh, thank thanks, it's Chelsea. But I saw a quote on the internet from a fan that Stamford Bridge is Stamford brothel, and I agree with that. because that's what we're acting like now. We're acting like anyone could come here and get 3 points. Yeah, man. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. But yeah, it's not as bad as situation as I as was a previous weeks, but Poch needs to pattern up in the next couple of games because it's going to be a hard run, and I think we'll shock a few teams in the next run because I think we're better off the ball than on it. In my opinion, I think we're better when we don't have as much possession and can counter attack and inshallah Oli Gunnar style. So but yeah, we'll carry on, and yeah, that's all I got to say about that.
All right, man. Well, we'll swiftly move on to my team. So obviously, my team won 3-0 at home to Nottingham Forest. Pretty much a professional performance, to be honest. Um, Nunes was a live wire as always, causing a lot of problems to that Nottingham Forest defense. And I'm loving the link up between Salah, Nunes, and Slobberslime. And I think they've really built up a good chemistry on the training field, and you can clearly see that it's been reflective in the performance, especially in the Nottingham Forest performance. And I think they're clicking into the right gears because, again, we've got easier runs leading up to the Man City game, and if we can get those 3 points left, right, and centre, so that when we get to the Man City game, that is truly going to be the title decider in that game. I think we just need to stay around the top two, around the top three. But yeah, it was a fantastic game. Nunes again, a gazillion amount of chances before he can bury his chance. And Jota obviously got onto the rebound from Nunes's shot. Brilliant tribute to Luis Diaz, which is unfortunate what's happened to his family. So, it's good news that his mum has been returned. So hopefully his dad will also be returned. It's mad that that's happened, a day before or on the day that he's obviously about to start against Nottingham Forest. But again, it just shows the team cohesion that we have at Liverpool. That everyone's pulling for him and everyone's there for him. Then obviously Darwin Nunes managed to get his goal, and then Mohamed Salah managed to get his goal on an open goal. I don't know what their goalkeeper was doing with that stupid mistake, because the centre back had it covered. The goalkeeper didn't need to run out like that because it just caused confusion with the centre back. But another assist and goal for Mohamed Salah, and whoever's got him in their fantasy football league is obviously cleaning house right now. I'm fuming because I literally was going to take off Erling Haaland, but then he ended up scoring and assisting. So I can't even I can't take man out my team, bro. I gotta keep him in there. So yeah, so Salah's obviously like cleaning house right now, which is good for him. Um, and yeah, as I said, it was a professional performance. We didn't really look like we were gonna be in trouble. Obviously, Nottingham Forest did have a couple chances, but they were just half chances. They weren't enough to cause Liverpool some sort of threat. And it just felt like Nottingham Forest didn't really try, and Liverpool didn't even come out of second gear to even win the game. It was just shocking defending from Nottingham Forest, Liverpool capitalizing, and yeah, just overpowering them and showing them our expertise really. So onwards and next to Luton we're going to be, and I'm expecting that to be a tough game because obviously Luton are very challenging. They've been challenging against the big boys already so far, but again, experience and firepower will lead us to victory, and that's pretty much been the theme of this season. Our firepower has really been different, but very clinical. I think we've been more proficient in terms of taking our chances, and I think it's a different dimension to what we were like with Firmino, Salah, and Sadio Mane. I think we're very dangerous, even more so now. I don't know what Klopp's done on a training ground, but it just feels like since our midfield rebuild, the creativity from deep in where we were lacking last season is bearing fruit this season. And yeah, man, our attacking play has just been amazing, outstanding to be fair. And what I like is the rotation pieces that we have. The fact that Luis Diaz didn't start, but Diego Jota was there on the left and he contributed with a goal, always being a threat. The fact that Cody Gakpo hasn't really been starting lately, but Nunes is kicking into gear. His form is there, his confidence is there, and he's just trying anything and everything. And Salah again is just Salah, really. This is a scary Salah because Salah's not focusing on being selfish anymore. He's more focused about bringing in his teammates, and that's a scary Salah because we wouldn't really associate Salah as someone that would bring in his teammates, and we wouldn't associate Salah as being a creative player. But the fact that now he's sort of taken a step back. Yeah, he's scoring goals, but he's bringing other players in, is causing more of a dangerous threat from his point of view on that right hand side, and it's making him more well rounded. And that is what's allowing the creativity and the free flowing football that we're getting, because now we got someone that's prepared to offer assistance as well as scoring goals on that right hand side. And then you got Slide that's creating from deep as well. So everywhere is just dangerous and it's looking good. And obviously it's still early days, but as I said, if we can go into December, into January, still in and around those positions, it's going to be scary hours when we get to January and finally grab that number 6 that we're looking for, because that's the only missing jigsaw piece to our puzzle, is that number 6. Again, I'm not happy seeing McAllister in that 6 role. And you saw when Endo came on and McAllister was playing further up, you know, we nearly scored again. If anything, we did score, but it was offside. And that was because McAllister was at the heart of that attack in that 8 position. So I think, again, I will say this every single time when we're on the pod, all we're missing is that 6 to push McAllister in that 8 and provide that creativity that Slobosly is doing. And it's scary hours. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, man, brilliant performance, professional performance, as I said. There's nothing really much I can say, really. And yeah, look forward to the Luton game. But Marjorie, what was your thoughts on the game if you watched the match?
Yeah, I agree. I think the thing about against smaller teams that you can do that we can't do is that you're efficient. You create a bunch of chances. With the additions of Sabozhalai, Gravenberch is looking really good. He's came in and been transformative to the midfield. And then just the front three that's clinical. Even though Nunes is not, but the other two are. So you've got two that are clinical and one that, two free chances, he's going to take one of them. And even though he missed, the the fact that he's trying to score and getting to those positions that you need, the rebound. See, so if for us, if Jackson was getting in those positions, even if he's missing the shots, the rebounds, you can get away with those ones as well. Like this is back to back games where rebounds have led to goals, kind of thing. So it's the kind of thing where your attack is so potent. But yeah, I think in the bigger games you might get pushed about in the midfield battle, which is obvious because you do need a 6. But I think in 90% of the games this season you're gonna win just based on your attack alone. And I think that's gonna propel you to the top 2, top 3 places. And maybe if you can get that 6 in the January transfer window, that could propel you to even greater heights. I don't know. The ceiling for this team is very high, and it's good to see that Klopp is for the first time actually rebuilding a squad and giving the opportunity to do it, because it's something that we haven't seen him do, and that shows his level of management. We had a lot of questions in regards of if he can do it, but he's shown he can. He just needs to rebuild that defense a little bit more and get that DM, get a centre back or so. And yeah, I think you're a couple players away from fully moving into the next phase of your team. And yeah, left-sided centre back DM in January just to bolster the squad. Someone like a top sober or something like that in centre back, a DM, any type of DM, even so that you can have someone that's a solid base. Your new Fabinho. someone who can go alongside Konate in the future when Van Dijk hangs up his boots. I think it'll be a very exciting future for Liverpool, and I think it'll be a team that people need to look out for, not in only in the Premier League but in the Champions League next season. I think it'll be an exciting team to face, and I think definitely up there in the pursuit for number 8, the 8th Champions League, definitely with that attack and how potent it is, and you've got 4 or 5 different options as well. So yeah, man, it was just overall a very easy game against um what I like to call Chelsea light, because they just bought a bunch of players and just put them together and said, "Hey, let's do this." And the thing
Uh,
about Nottingham Forest is, for me, I think they're like Aston Villa in a sense. They're like a sleeping giant ready to be awakened, and I think it's good to see them back in the Prem. I would say that it's good to see them back in the Prem, and I think they can build on what they're doing. I think they have a really decent level of squad now, even though they've done it a different way to most teams. I think it's worked out for them, and it will be interesting to see how they continue to grow in the future. And yeah, Sheikh Jassim, if you need a team to buy, go for Nottingham Forest. They got the heritage, the history. Bring them back to the promised land. Stop wasting time with them dons over there. United, United, because yeah, going to talk about that. But yeah, great game for Liverpool. Yeah, really giving me hope to back my decision of putting them second. Hell, I might even by January time even put them as the team to win the title, because if Man City ever slip up, I think they're the team that can capitalize, because I don't trust North London. Um, they're known for bottling, so you can never trust a team from North London to do what you need to do in the crunch time. But Liverpool, they've got that pedigree. They were the only team that are one or two teams to beat Pep in his stay in the league. And yeah, Klopp has the attack definitely to capable to go all the way. And I think you're a team that can definitely win the Europa League. That should be a target of yours. And yeah, I think a Europa League and Premier League double is definitely on the cards for Liverpool this season. They're my dark horse to win it all. But yeah, that's all I got to say.
yeah, I agree. Huh. Last but not least, let's finish on the main event. Let's finish on the WrestleMania main event. You know, this one right here, the powerhouse. This one right here, Manchester Derby, the theater of nightmares. That's what it was. Yeah, United got turned over again in their backyard, to the point where Carragher and Neville were beefing again in Sky Sports Studios. And everything that Carragher said about United is correct. Is correct. And it's everything that we say all the time on the pod. Stop blaming the owners. Yeah, we know that the owners is the problem. We know that. You know, your club's in debt. We get it. But you're still spending money. You're still spending 200 mil every season, regardless. So the issue isn't the owners. And I'm sick and tired of like going online on Twitter and seeing everyone saying Glazers out. They're sick and tired of the Glazers. They're sick and tired of this. But what people need to understand is if United had a DOF, that would eradicate the problems that is going on with this club. We say this all the time. A DOF has turned Arsenal from pretenders to now we're talking about Arsenal always being in the top four. Why? Because Edu's done a good job. Granted, the signings he's made sometimes hasn't made sense, but there's a structure in place which has allowed Arsenal to be in the conversation of being in top four. Look at the structure of Man City. They signed a guy from Barcelona who, during Barcelona's prime, under Guardiola, was phenomenal. Their structure was amazing. They were dominating to the point where the Spanish national team was dominating because of that structure in place at Barcelona. This is who they got at Man City. And look at them now. dominating, making this league a one horse race, making a mockery out of the Premier League. When have we ever said that? The Premier League's never been like that. But look at it now. Liverpool had a DOF. Look at the structure. Even now, without a DOF, we still have a structure in place, which has allowed Klopp to rebuild his team. Chelsea, even Chelsea has a structure. And this is what you need in order for a club to be thriving. And they just don't have that. They don't have a DOF. They don't have a sporting director. They're leaving all the decisions to one man. Only Fergie, Klopp, Guardiola, Wenger, Mourinho has the power to control everything because they have the experience, the credibility, the know-how. Eric Ten Hag don't have that experience. He doesn't have the know-how. So how are you giving someone that's still relatively new to the Premier League the power to control everything? Then on top of that, you've got players that's been under different management on big wages where it's difficult to get rid of because no club wants to spend those big wages. So then they're fucked because they've got players under different managers whereby you're trying to tell them, look, this is how I want to play. And a couple of them man are like, nah, brother, I don't want to play this way. That Manchester derby was a joke, an absolute joke. Bruno Fernandes, I say this time and time again on a pod. You are not a leader, you are not a captain. And for me, if I was in Bruno's shoes, I would strip myself and say, Gaffer, I'm not up for it. I think someone else should be made captain to lead this squad. But the funny thing is, they have no captain materials in there. And the thing is, I always say look towards Rashford. And the reason why I always say look towards Rashford is because he understands the club, he understands the fans, he knows the pain that they're going through. Yeah, Rashford's inconsistent sometimes, and yeah, he doesn't always live up to his hype, and I get that. And that's obviously the reason why he's not made captain. But sometimes you need someone that bleeds red on the pitch, that understands the fans, that when the going gets tough, they'll still keep trying regardless. That's why I always say give it to him. But outside of that, there is no captain material. And the wickedest thing is Eric Ten Hag tried to change his formation in that game. He tried to go for the Christmas tree formation, which is the 4-5-1, where you got two cams in behind the striker. And he thought that that would allow more creativity, but essentially they looked even worse in that game. Worse. Man City wasn't even in second gear to win that game. They weren't. It was just too easy to pop the ball about. It was too easy to get into the box and cause a threat. Their defense was all over the place. Their midfield couldn't handle their midfield. Onana made decent saves. I think that was probably the one time that I've seen Onana actually pull out decent saves to try and restrict those numbers from going to 5, 6, 7-0 to only just 3-0. It was diabolical. And if I'm a United fan, I wouldn't even say you should be worried because this has been going on for years. But if I was a United fan, the protest should be louder and you should be doing something because a derby shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't. We saw what a derby should be like against Chelsea and Arsenal. We saw what a derby should be like. That is what a derby should be. Action packed, goals, decisions, people, a team coming back from a 2-0 defeat, one team dominating, and then a split second of a moment, it changes the game. That's what derbies are all about. Like, hell, we don't even want derbies like the Merseyside derby because we already know Liverpool are already going to win before they even touch the pitch. But the Manchester derby means something. It does. And for me, it doesn't feel like these guys are wearing that United shirt proudly and wanting to go out and do something. It doesn't feel like it. It just feels like they've already lost before went on the pitch. I don't know what the idea is in terms of the philosophy because I'm not seeing good football. I'm seeing dire football. At least with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, we saw the style that he was doing. Counter attacking Shalah. We saw that all the time. But with this Eric Ten Hag, we're not seeing Eric Ten Hag ball. We always used to be, Ten Hag ball, Ten Hag ball. We're not seeing Ten Hag ball. Like, I honestly don't know what United are going to do. And I think the questions needs to start asking, like, yeah, should Ten Hag's position be under threat? But at the same time, even if you was to get rid of Ten Hag, the next person that they bring in is still going to go through that same situation. Louis Van Gaal, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Ralph Ragnick, David Moyes, Eric Ten Hag, the list goes on. It still happened to all those guys. So yeah, man, like I don't know, man. It's gonna continue on getting worse. Obviously, it's fantastic for me because I'm a Liverpool fan, but at the same time, as a neutral, you don't want to see the decline of like teams moving the way that they're moving because you want the league to be a competitive league. I'm sick and tired of seeing Man City win this league every single time. I am. I'm sick and tired of it. I'd be happy to see someone like a Arsenal win it. Like if my team don't win it, then I'd want a different team to win it apart from City. I'm sick and tired of it. So I want to see the likes of Chelsea up there. I want to see the likes of Arsenal sorting their arse out and actually being competitive every time instead of being inconsistent. I want to see United back up to where they need to be. Liverpool doing what they do best. Like I want to see what it was like back in the early mid 2000s to just about late 2000s, dominating all four clubs, pulling in a shift before Man City came along. I want to see that, but I'm not seeing that right now. And it's just depressing. Depressing. Like the league that we've grown up and love is not the league that we know now. It's dead. And you even can tell that it's dead because big teams are even being shown on Sky Sports anymore. When was the last time Liverpool was shown on TV? It's a joke. The only time that a big team is being shown is fucking Newcastle at 5:30. Shock because the Saudis are watching it during that time.
That's so true.
Shock. Corruption at its finest. Money talks. That's the only time. But we had big teams playing over the last couple weeks and we're not being shown. I'm not even talking about Liverpool. I'm talking about other big teams as well. They're not being shown. It's always at 2 o'clock. Why? Whereas last season and the season before that, we was always watching big games. Always. The Premier League feels like it's being dead and buried. It don't feel the same. And that match pretty much there said it all. It was an absolute joke. But anyways, I have nothing else to say, man. Like Marjorie, what do you have to say about this game?
Um, I'm gonna mainly stick on Man United. I mean, Man City, they just dominated. We'll talk about them towards the end of it. First with the team lineup. This man said it was a tactical decision to start Johnny Evans over Champions League Varane. I don't know what tactical decision, in any sense of the word, would make sense to have Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans like it's 2010 as your starting centre back partnership against Haaland. He probably saw that on the team sheet. He was like, yeah, that might work.
Birdman.
Yeah, if it were, you know what? The only guy that can in that defensive unit that can hold their head high is Onana. Because if it wasn't for him, Haaland would have scored four. one of his goals, there was a chance similar to that in the first half, I think, where he had the same chance where twice Bernardo Silva stuck it up in the air. The first time Onana saved it, the second time he didn't. But and the first time he flew across the box to save it, and he made some great saves from Haaland. On another day, this could have been 6-7-0 easily, 8-9. It was gonna go in that direction. And in many ways, I think for me, I don't know what Ten Hag wants to do with this team. I don't know why Ericsson is playing, um, starting. I don't think he's suited for this type of match. I don't think he has it in him anymore. You pay the big bucks for Mason Mount and Anthony, and they're on the bench. But you decide to start McTominay, McSauce, McMayo. This wasn't your player. Your players are on the bench. These are your signings, Ten Hag. Thank you for the 45, 50 million for Mason Mount. Good doing business with you. Because he did nothing. Man was just a passenger. But these are your signings. And for me, I think Ten Hag's decision making is something that I can't trust. I agree. Bruno Fernandes should be stripped of captaincy, and a manager with a bottle would take it off him because all he does is complain, moan like a little bitch, crying every 2 seconds. That's all he does. Cry me a river. Yeah. He might as well be called Justin Timberlake the amount of time he cries, fam. Man needs to be in the music videos with the rain pouring on him and it going like this. That's all he does every game. All you see him do is complain. There is no leaders in that team. I mean, the one player that could be a leader is on the bench in Varane. Casemiro is not available. Rashford is no leader. The fact of the matter is, he's more interested in park life and doing drip god and stuff like that and feeding the children and other things and being a politician than a footballer. I mean, he's gone missing. Where's Rashford? Have you seen him? Have you seen him? I haven't
Nope.
seen him. You see the likes of Harry Kane, halfway shot in the Bundesliga. Jude Bellingham, dominating El Clasico, real English non-dadders, doing it big. Nketiah, your defense is in trouble. Nketiah's in the room scoring a hat trick out here in these streets. Yeah, where's Rashford? Oh, he's a manny boy. He's English through and through. I don't see him. I look at this team and they came into this game and they didn't have the fight, the hunger, the passion, the desire. The only one that did was McTominay. He had that one shot and he made Edison make that the only save he had to make the whole game. And what a save. That's why Edison gets paid the big bucks, because he decided to make a save for once. Because we know more time than not, he ain't saving anything. Man's a midfielder in goal, let's be honest here. At least McSauce made him work for once. But oh my, but overall, I look at this team and I don't see any players that could make it to any other team.
None.
Not even my team, and my team's been shocking this season. And I wouldn't take any of your players. The only man that I might take is Hoyland, because he actually looks like a decent striker. But he's being let down by the lack of creativity behind him. Mister, I just want to pass it anywhere. Do the next Travella pass, thinking I'm silky smooth Bruno, but then loses the ball and then concede in a minute. Mason Mount, who's lost on the field. McSauce, Rashford, who's just one track mind. He does it. All he does is run and don't look up. It's just. And the one time a couple games ago when he should have shot, man passed. Man saw he heard all the news and social media stories in his head. He's like, oh no, let me pass it this time. Wrong. Decision making nowhere. But for me, this game was just a murder. It was murder on a football
Murder
field.
she wrote, boy.
The one thing I would say is though that penalty was SAWFT soft. That was no penalty. What league is this? Man got love tapped by Højlund, and he fell down like he got shot. Uh, but Rodri's Spanish, innit? That's what they do, innit? They anytime they get touched by anything, them man act like they get shot. They get hit by a little thing from the crowd. Oh, oh, that's that's all they do. Them Spanish dons there, but it wasn't gonna stop the result. Man City and Haaland were inevitable. And yeah, Onana, McTominay were the only two good players for United throughout that game. The rest of them, and Højlund actually, I'll give Højlund his clout. He was decent. I mean, unlucky with the penalty thing, but it is what it is. But the rest of them, they just weren't there. Like for me, I can't be relying on Maguire and Evans as my centre back partnership in any game, let alone the biggest game of your season. And to Old Trafford it's not a fit of dreams no more. The stadium's falling down. Teams are Man City, your noisy neighbors are coming to your ground and wrapping you man up silly. I mean, you man have to go home. You only live around the corner anyway. You're doing the walk home.
The walk of shame, fam.
Yeah, the walk of shame from your own stadium.
Uh,
And guess what? The same fans you got to meet the next day at work. They're there. All right, Dave. Watch the game.
Oh man.
Just know that Monday, Bear Man called in sick. I'm sick. I'm not coming. I'm not coming in. But and this time you can't even blame Varane and Casemiro because they weren't there. So I don't know what these players are playing for. I really don't. I don't. And the thing about Ten Hag is he needs direction. He needs a DOF to set him straight, to give him signings that can allow him to create a style of football because they have none. And that's the main thing. They don't have a style of football. They look lackluster and lost on the field. It's not like they do anything with the ball when they have it anyway. And yeah, it was a bad loss. And do I say it's a shame? No. It's a shame because United are the biggest club in the country. But it's not a shame because my childhood was ruined by your club year after year. I saw you go 3 in a row Premier League trophies with bummy squads and Sir Alex Ferguson with his chewing gum. I saw your team win all. So as far as I'm concerned, no more Fergie time. It's party time at Old Trafford, and not for you. I'm gonna lie. My weekend was sad up to that point. I was sad. I was looking at the window. I was crying. I was like, "No, Chelsea lost." You put a smile on my face. Thank you, Ten Hag. Thank you, Man United. And that's all I gotta say.
You're a fool.
When I'm down, Man United bring me right back up. I love it. And it was great. It was great watching all the reactions. I had a nice little bit of salt with my food. Oh, it was good times. Good times and lunchtime. Yeah. I live with this.
Well, yeah, it's true, and that's why Patrice Evra said, "I love this game." So yeah, man, we're gonna end on that note. But what I do want to say quickly before I close, well, whilst I close actually, that Juan decision, Wolves versus Newcastle, that pen, you refs should be ashamed of yourself. That wasn't even a pen. That was so soft, and you actually gave that. Absolute disgrace. I say this countless of times. This is why you refs don't ref the major tournaments, because that was shocking. How you gave that, I do not know. I do not know. You can clearly see his boot hit the ground, and you can clearly see that I think it was Gordon or whoever was going towards his foot to try and get the pen. You can clearly see Juan tried to pull out and slow down. You could clearly see there was no intent there. but you still gave the pen. And the wickedest thing is, it's decisions like that that piss me off because Wolves isn't in a relegation battle right now. Gary O'Neill, actually been doing well. I thought he was a bum at Bournemouth, but it's clear to see that he obviously needed a better team to manage to make him look good. And he's doing well at Wolves, so fair play to him, innit? But it's decisions like that that can turn a club that's not challenging or trying to avoid relegation to an actual relegation battle because points are lost and dropped. That could have been 3 points for Wolves, but it ended up being a draw, an unnecessary draw, an unnecessary point, which could prove costly for them come towards the end of the season. And we always say this, like referees need to hold themselves accountable for the decisions they make. None of this apology malarkey. Like you need to be doing interviews. You need to explain why you gave that as a penalty. Like you need to. I don't care if it's pressure or you don't want to answer the hard questions that's going to be thrown at you by the reporter. But managers have to do it, especially when they get in a beating the way that they do, 3, 5, 6 nil. Managers still have to face the media and they don't want to face it. So what gives you the right to avoid the media attention? What gives you the right to be sitting cushy in your office thinking, oh, I get away with it. Let me message fucking Mike Dean or whatever the dickhead's name is. That's fucking the PGM or LBT, whatever it's called, head of the association saying, oh, can you write out an apology for me, please? So that it can be sent out to the clubs. What gives you the right to be doing that? You're ruining the game. You're ruining the Premier League. VAR is ruining the Premier League. We thought that VAR was coming in to actually save the referees, but if anything, it's hindering and making them worse. The fact that referees aren't making the executive decisions, or even if they are, VAR's coming in to step in and actually ruin the decision that's made. Like accountability needs to be held. And it's just shocking that it's not. Like that was just a bad call. And it's just been bad calls consistently every single game, every single week. We're having to talk about some sort of refereeing decision. When is enough enough? When? But yeah, that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta close with. We got Luton. I hope for 3 points. And yeah, that's me.
Yeah, yeah, some terrible refereeing decisions. But my closing statement is we got a big game away to Tottenham, the entertainment centre. Pochettino, you're going back to your old team, playing Ange Postecoglou and them boys there. So I'm gonna need a result. I'm gonna need a performance. I'm gonna need something because I'm not losing to them bums over there. I don't care how good they playing. Tottenham need to know their place. That team ain't won nothing in the Premier League era apart from a League Cup. Back then it was called the Worthington Cup or the Coca-Cola Cup. I don't even know what it was called back then when they won it. But anyway, as for referees, I mean, we can talk about referees every week. They're making terrible decisions left, right, and center. But PGMOL are just gonna do another. I'm sorry. Forgive us. Suspension for a match day. But I guess that match day he's gonna be in Dubai or somewhere getting big money with Al Hilal and them teams there. So let's be honest, uh, they ain't doing anything to that man right there. And yeah, another great weekend of football, another great episode. As we always say, this is foosball. United, hold that. My team, Chelsea, hold that. Sheffield United, hold that. Especially Sheffield United. You've been terrible this season. The bottom three teams, 20 plus goals all conceded. The teams have come up, Burnley, Sheffield United, and who's the other one? Luton Town. Hold that. Your championship soon come for you guys. It's not looking good. That's all I got to say. Hey, Pochettino, you made me say hold that to my own club. I'm coming for you. We ended that. Every team that lose, hold that. Anyone that's lost, hold that. Barcelona, hold that. That goalkeeper that got lobbed by Harry Kane, hold that. I don't even know your name. How you conceded from halfway line, you bum. Anyway. Oh yeah, New Zealand rugby team, hold that. Yeah, you lost in the final. Africa, let's go. My Springboks out here.
Believe.
And the Samba one in Ghana, hold that robbery. But anyway, we
Word.
move, and that's the end.
Peace.
Peace.